What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube and Rumble subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Kush back at again with another New York Giants live stream, the Just Chillin podcast live stream. Let me just post this call-in link real quick to the chat. Also, guys, let me know if my mic sounds fine because I was noticing while doing some checks backstage that it was peaking a little bit, or it was picking up sounds at a point in time where it was not necessarily supposed to be picking up any type of sound. Let me know if that mic is working just fine. I won't be able to fix it right away, but at least I'll know for sure that it's all good. Shout out to Mike Nixon for the member chat. He says, what up, Kush? I love the draft. Hey, man, a lot of people did. And also shout out to Yuvraj, Double A, Super Taj, and John Doe in here as well. I'm waiting for more people to come in. As you guys are coming in, make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you are not already, and the share button as well. Get it out there so we have as many Giants fans as possible in here sharing their thoughts. And with that being said, before I get right to it, actually, like I said, this was a double header as I was tweeting it out. It's the chance for you guys to call and share your thoughts on the entire draft, and then also Chris Pettit being released by the Giants earlier yesterday. Let's get the first caller up. It's Mike. What's up, Mike? How you doing, man?
Yeah, man. I'm a happy camper. Joe Shane killed this draft. And I love it. I love every pick that we made. Especially the Wan'dale Robinson pick.
Let me hear your thoughts on it.
He's a beast. I watched him play at Kentucky. And I mean, he made some catches to save his quarterback from horrible decision making. But other than his quarterback being a little bit inconsistent at times, he balled out. And he transferred to Kentucky from Nebraska, who did not know how to use him correctly.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, if he would have started his career at Kentucky, he might have been a late first, earlier second round pick.
Real quick, let me just give a shout out to NYBSMM5 in the chat, a new member. I recently connected with him. Well, we've been connected on Instagram for a while, but we've been chopping it up on IG back and forth. That's a good dude right there. Good luck on your exam, bro. If you got time, definitely call in. With Wan'dale Robinson and the potential of him, potentially, being a better receiver if he started earlier at Kentucky. What do you think about this? Do you have any concerns about the size? That's something that's been thrown out there.
Not really, because he just looks like a bowling ball that will. I mean, the dude benched 225 at the combine 19 times.
And he
for
takes
that
a
size.
lot of hits. He takes a lot of hits too when you look at it play.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm maybe just a tiny bit concerned with his size, but he can definitely take the hits. But as far as that first round, that was my dream scenario. I think.
I didn't even think it was possible. I saw a tweet. Shout out to Alex from Big Blue in the Bronx. I'm sure you know him, Mike. He tweeted out earlier today. He was like, we've had two things that were kind of seen as impossible happen with the Giants this offseason. We got both Brian Daboll and Wink Martindale on the same coaching staff, and then we got both Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau on the team.
I know. It's just been a almost perfect off season. And so For anybody that's wondering if Kadarius is going to be traded, he isn't, because Wan'dale will now fill his role that Tony was supposed to be last year. Tony's gonna be our number 2 wide receiver, and Kenny's gonna be our number 1. But I do have a bit of a hot take.
Mm-hmm.
I think by week 10, Kadarius Tony's gonna be our number 1.
You know, I don't even necessarily know if that's a hot take. He's just the way he plays. It's easier for him to get up a lot more yardage than it is for Kenny
Yeah,
Galladay. So I don't even know if it's necessarily a hot take, you know?
yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna go with another hot take.
Mm-hmm.
Kayvon Thibodeau will tie the rookie record for sacks with 14 set by Javon Curse.
Oh, you talking about the NFL rookie record? I thought we were talking about the Giants rookie record. Okay,
No,
that is certainly a hot take. Yep, that is scalding hot, man. 14 sacks in a rookie year.
mm-hmm.
Oh man, I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot. It's way too early to tell how much he's gonna give us in his rookie season. I'm thinking anywhere from like 7 to like 10, but 14. Ooh, 14 off the bat. I don't know,
Hey,
man.
hey,
That's a lot.
hey, Parsons got 13 last year.
Mm-hmm. Oof.
So,
That is that. All I'm gonna say once again is that's a lot, man. That's a crazy
mm-hmm.
amount. We'll have to see.
I know.
I would be so glad if it happens, though. I'm thinking about, you know, that means they're paying attention to Aziz, which would make sense because he's the more proven guy as of right now. They're probably
Mm-hmm.
gonna be paying a lot more attention to him. You know, you got Leo coming up in the middle and whatnot. We'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah. But as far as the Chris Pettit firing, it was only a matter of when, not if.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time that we got some new blood in the scouting department, because what we had really hasn't done much.
Mm-hmm. And then
Besides,
go ahead, go ahead.
besides like finding Victor Cruz, and maybe you can say Tay Crowder,
Yeah.
but other than that, I mean, who have we really gotten?
Well, not to discredit them completely. Obviously, Andrew Thomas, Xavier McKinney came on the Chris Pettit's watch as well. Um,
Yeah.
and then, you know, Azeez Ojulari came under his watch along with Kadarius
Mm-hmm.
Toney. So credit where credit is due. But the reason he was fired, of course, is because they believe that the Giants haven't done a good enough job of drafting overall. So that's outside the first round as well. You look back at the 2018 draft, Saquon is the only player still on the team from the 2018 draft. You look
Mm-hmm.
back at the 2019 draft, what you call it. There's only 5 of 10 players from the 2019 draft still on the team. So it's definitely something needs to be changed. Nate, what's up? He's in here, and I don't know why your profile picture changed to the old one instead of the current one.
I mean, that's neither here nor there. I have come on here for one reason, Kush. You know what it is. Clearly, Pest is not available to fulfill what you've told him to do, so I'm going to do it instead. You thirsty bastard. There we go. That's it.
I don't think that's. I responded with that. He said that's not what he was gonna call me. So I don't know.
Well, you said for him to come on the stream right now and call you it, so I did it for him since he won't do it.
No, you misinterpreted it. He was talking about another thing. Read the thread.
I will. Anyway, though, your retweet on that tier list was absolutely disgusting. I can't believe you did that.
For people that don't know what he's referring to, I just retweeted a soda tier list that I was like, you know what? I respect
And
it.
anyone who doesn't
It's
know
not
what I'm talking
necessarily-
about, get on Twitter, follow Kush, follow
Not
myself, go look at the
necessarily-
thread.
Not necessarily what my tier list would be. I even offered to make my own tier list, but they don't want that.
Kush,
But I
because
was like, you know what, this is a
your
respectable
retweets
tier
are
list.
yours to own.
As a respectable tier list. Let me move this.
No,
camera
it's
over a
not
little bit.
though. Your retweets
It
are
is.
yours to own,
Listen,
and you
my 3
retweeted
favorite
trash.
sodas were in Elite, and I was happy with that. That's all I
Nah,
need to
man,
see.
come on.
I had Fanta there, I had Sprite there, and I have to take another look. There was somebody else in the Elite. I was like, I
Dude,
bet that's
the
it.
man had all forms of root beer in ass and put Canada Dry as best. You can't defend that, Kush.
Root beer, it tastes like what somebody that never tasted cream soda tried to make cream soda taste like, bro.
You're an objectively terrible person.
Root beer is not that good, y'all. But anyway, water is greater than everything. And Nate, you gonna join this convo? Or you gonna dip out with the soda take?
Listen. I came on mainly for that reason. If there is good football talk going on, I will gladly partake. But I just wanted to come on here and tell you to your face that is terrible what you've done.
Mike, he just insulted you, bro. He's about to leave, which means that there's bad football talk.
I did not say that at all, Kush. You are a lying streamer right now, Kush. That's what you're doing. You're lying to your chat.
All right, I'll let Mike.
panelists.
I'll let Mike Nixon make that decision.
Okay.
I mean, as far as the tier list, I don't have any opinions because I don't drink soda. So,
Water greater, bro.
I mean, that's a wonderful opinion to have, but I don't want to hear it from you, Kush, Mr. Betacasadu.
Listen, and it took you so long to figure out what that was, man. This man didn't know off bat.
It took me so long to look at your response. I was playing Madden.
Oh, guys, he was getting whooped in Madden again. It's okay. So back to Chris
Dude,
Pettit.
Come on, bro.
Back to Chris Pettit. Yeah, there's 5 players from that
This
2019
man who's
draft class.
ducking Madden on stream for months.
I've been, handling other things with my Twitch channel, man.
Okay.
Go ahead there, Mike.
but anyway, it was just time to bring in new minds
Mm-hmm.
of thinking.
Now, I could agree with that. Listen, all I thought about when I saw that Chris Pettit was fired, I saw that first tweet, was the Brandon Brown image of him looking back at Chris Pettit, which was one of the first ever Brandon Brown images we ever got a couple months ago, and I'm like, this man is done with him 2 weeks into the job.
believe they fired 2 more people today.
Yeah, there was a couple more firings.
After? Oh, really? Anybody got
Yeah,
update on
and
who they
even
are?
more long-time people, I believe.
Is John Mara actually sitting back and letting somebody do their job? I don't
It
believe
would
this.
seem that way.
It would seem that way, but we don't know.
It would seem that way.
No,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I'll say this. I think if we're talking about general managers making a good first impression, it sure seems like Shane's trying to do that. And I'll say what I've said on Twitter. I think in terms of what we've seen so far, because it is very early, I like this dude's style. I really do. He seems like a guy who's come in with a focus and a mission, and a guy who understands that the only way he's going to be successful here is if he cuts through all the bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. And we got a couple questions from the chat here. Let me get to it. Obviously, Streamlabs is being so difficult with the scrolling. You're
Are
about
they
said if you
wondering
look...
why your soda takes are so garbage? Is that what it is?
What? I said Streamlabs.
No, I
Sir.
was saying, are the questions in chat wondering why your soda takes are so garbage?
Well, Dustin Mosley is the only person that commented on soda, and he said root beer is ass. So,
Well, Dustin clearly has no taste.
Yovrod said, if you look at our team, if James Bradbury stays, it looks pretty good, and if we have luck on our side, don't have any injuries, plus DJ does not underperform, we might go to the playoffs with a weak NFC. Can we please calm down with some of these
Well, the problem is
takes?
we need to be able to measure this and make sure that we're not overdoing anything, but it's also not wrong. I mean, let's be honest. This division has not had a back-to-back winner in over 2 decades almost.
All right, bro. Look at that Eagles team and tell me right now they're not favorites.
No. Well, first of all, I'd still pick the Cowboys over the Eagles. Second of all, I would think that if the Cowboys continue the trend of not having back-to-back winners, yes, I would pick the Eagles over us or Washington. I'm not saying I think we're going to make the playoffs, but I'm saying as much as it's ridiculous to be talking about it right now, it's not out of the question. This division is chaos.
I would listen. I would agree with that, but the 3 things he listed are 3 big things that need to break right, which is why I'm like, let's calm down with it. A DJ not underperforming, that's a big thing, whether people want to admit it or not. What was the
Sure.
other he listed? No injuries, that's a huge thing. When's the last time we had, respectable amount of injuries on the team? It's always been ungodly for like
Listen,
the past
Kush.
5 to 7 years.
Bro, listen. Right now, at this moment, we have 0 injuries, so I'm gonna take that as a dub. that we are
It is
currently
May,
at 100%
it is May
health.
3rd.
Kush, listen. I know it's May 3rd, but this might be the only opportunity we get to say that, so I'm gonna say it. We are
No,
at 100%.
knock on wood, touch red. Is there anything else on jinxes other than those two?
There's
that's
like
it.
something with salt and thrown in it or whatever. I
Oh
don't know.
yeah, like you got to throw it over your shoulder, but I don't
Yeah,
have salt
something
on
like
me right now. Then he says, "Do you think that OBJ will come back?" I know what this is referring to. He was responding to Art Stapleton's tweet where he said
Yeah.
he thinks OBJ is coming back. Well, the tweet for reference for people that don't know, it was Art Stapleton the night we drafted K. Vaughn. He was basically saying, a retirement
this.
is not out of the possibility. Like OBJ coming back and kind of retiring here is not out of the possibility because we got a big personality here now. And then OBJ responded. He responded twice. One of them was like, "Oh, they like big personalities now," and then the other one was just praising K. Vaughn. Now, I would like for it to happen. Is it gonna happen? I don't know. He kind of went on an entire Twitter tirade that weekend. That man was out here trying to out
Oh yeah,
Samuel's
he
like
was
information
making
and
moves on
whatnot.
Twitter.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I don't think it's really gonna be indicative of anything.
Yeah, I doubt it. Listen, would we all love to see him back in Giants blue one more time? Absolutely. Do I think there's any realistic chance it happens? No, not really. Mostly because it doesn't make sense for anybody involved. It doesn't make sense to the Giants, who have no money to give and are not competing. Doesn't make sense for Odell, who's going to be taking probably one last shot to win another ring. And it doesn't make sense for other teams who are probably going to want to spend more on him than we might. Because they'll say, hey, look, maybe we are in a competitive window. Why would we just let him go somewhere for free?
And then, of course, this rumor that I addressed in my video briefly, but I'm going to keep it labeled as a rumor because we don't know anything as of right now, which was that the rumor has it is that Shane fed Pettit false info on the picks.
Yes.
And then that's why, it kind of went out. There's also the rumor going around that he fed the false info about trading Tony. What do you guys think about that? As of right now, I'm looking at it as a rumor. If it's true, it's hilarious 5D chess move. But what do you think?
Man, like you said, it's probably just a rumor, but if it's true, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Personally, I would tend to doubt it, but I want it to be true so bad.
Right?
Because that is the best thing that will have happened this offseason. In an offseason where we hired great coaches, a great general manager, and then drafted 2 incredible players, that will still be the best goddamn thing to happen this offseason.
Doesn't it also basically confirm that they don't like Pat Leonard?
Yes, pretty much, which is equally awesome. But I hate to be that guy, but it doesn't make just about any sense.
Can you tell me why? Because I want to believe it so much. Why doesn't it make sense?
Well, because the guy's the executive director of college scouting. They can't hide what their actual takes on players are from him. He's going to sit in on
Okay,
all
but what
the
about the
important
Tony
meetings.
one? What about the Tony one?
The Tony one, maybe, but that's a very obscure rumor that's really just being passed around to add on to the original one.
Okay. Listen, I respect the logistics of what you're saying.
Listen,
Logically,
I want it to be
makes
true,
sense.
too, because that's hilarious.
Scorpio Emperor Crane, what up, Edward? I see you in there. Says, I'm extremely excited for this year. The Giants will be healthy and will be a kick-ass year. 15-2 regular season record, NFC East and NFC Conference champs. Mark my words.
Guys, we found Fisk's burner. We did it. We found it. This is Fisk Vegas, whatever this dude's username is.
Scorpio Emperor King.
Yes, thank you. Fisk Vegas Scorpio. That's
And
what
then
we
he
found.
follows it up with saying somebody has to go worst to first. Why not the Giants? I like the optimism, Scorpio. I'll give you that. I need that optimism
this is the
in
guy
everyday
that
life.
I need to. This is the guy that I need to see first thing on Monday mornings when I walk into a building.
Facts.
That's the guy that you got to see to lift your mood.
So 2 things, guys. We got 50 people in here right now. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for being in here. Hit that like button. But also, we have 50 people and no new callers. I'm always amazed that there's a lot of people watching, but there's never that many people calling. There's a pretty vocal fan base, all things considered. Do not
Man,
be scared.
this man's getting on me
You know
for
what I'm saying?
insulting Mike, and he's not satisfied with you being on here, Mike.
Listen, Mike Nixon knows how the show business works. All right, he's used to it.
Okay. Wow.
And then
Wow.
I want to ask you guys this. This was Jerry Jones accidentally flashing the entire world their board on what was that, day one of the draft, right, when they took Tyler Smith.
I didn't even hear about this.
You didn't see it.
Yeah.
They took Tyler Smith, and then
Yeah.
the press conference after with Tyler Smith, and then whoever Jerry Jones's kid is, and then whoever else is in charge of like scouting and whatnot. He just, I don't know if it was unprompted, but they were basically talking about other available linemen on the board because it was almost a consensus questioning the Tyler Smith pick. He was like, "Oh no, we like them above this player, we like them above that player," and then he showed the entire media their draft board for the second round included. And then his son had to be like, "No, don't show them that." There still hasn't been a good picture released, even though the draft is over. There hasn't been a good picture release
like
of
that
that.
super blurry photo of him like in front of it or whatever.
No, he wasn't in
Yeah.
front of it. It wasn't like it was in front of him.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he flashed like it was at a press conference. He put it up, and okay. So now that you're hearing of it, though, people were saying either A, Jerry Jones is really going senile, or they were like, B, this is another chess move where he's flashing their real draft board to throw people off. That was just kind of funny.
I mean, I think Jerry Jones has been senile for about 3 decades, but okay.
He's had good drafs, thoh. You know, he's
Doesn't
had
change
good
the fact that
drafts.
he's senile. Look at the guy. Come on.
What do you think about the Tyler Smith pick, Nate?
I'm mixed in my feelings about it. I'll say this. It doesn't seem like a good pick now. At this moment, if you were to ask me, how does the pick look after this draft? I'll say it's a bad pick. I do think it's a reach. The value is not there. But this is an important caveat. The feeling I get from it, and this is not a one-to-one comparison, because I remember when someone said this on Twitter, like, it's not the same. I'm not saying it's a one-to-one comparison, but the vibe I get from it is very Zach Martin-ish, because this is a guy that has just spectacular upside and the tools to be, at some position, an elite offensive lineman for sure. And a lot of people are speculating about him immediately moving to guard and finding success. And I'm thinking, who else did that on that Dallas line and became absolutely monstrous? So I think that this
They're
is either
hoping
going to be
for
a pick
similar
that,
success.
yeah, this is either going to be a pick that works out beautifully or blows up in their face. I don't see a lot of in between. Like I don't see Tyler Smith like looking back in 3 or 4 years and be like, yeah, that was a decent pick. It's either going to be, wow, that was stupid, or holy crap, how did they see that? You know what I mean? So I think the pick here is a reach. I will confidently call it a reach, but I don't feel confident condemning it to being terrible yet.
Mike, any thoughts to
I agree with Nate.
And shout out to Tudo for this $5 super chat. Appreciate it, man. He says, in our opinions, currently, the Giants have one of the best rosters on paper. Now it's all up to the front office and coaches to build it to playoff championship team. Hey, man, we still have some holes left. I mean, we'll have to wait until the regular season to see that, Tudo. But you're absolutely right. You know, in your own words, the chefs got to work with their ingredients. There's a couple more comments here real quick. Shout out to Lucas, a member that's all the way, I believe, in New Zealand or Australia. I'm sorry for mixing it up. I believe it's New Zealand, though. He says he has me on the headphones. It's daytime here. He's working at the moment. I appreciate that, man. Listening to me while you're working. I think there's an Eagles fan in here, is it? Or maybe it's not. He says, it says, who in the NFC teams can cover or guard A.J. Brown? On the NFC,
I mean,
Jalen Ramsey still exists, right?
If you're talking about the NFC, a lot of guys.
Yeah.
There's this. First of all, I want to preface this by saying the question itself is kind of opening up for a lot of answers like that. You're trying to make this look worse than it is. But this trade is not as good as people are calling it for the Eagles. Like, a lot of people are talking about this like it's just a remarkable deal for them. I don't think it is. A lot of people are putting it next to the Hollywood trade and saying, look, they both got first rounders. Wow. I mean, are we serious? Just because the Cardinals are absolute morons doesn't mean that this trade's any better. I think it's not a bad trade. I wouldn't say that the Eagles like lost the trade, but personally, I think Treylon Burks is a better version of A.J. Brown, and they don't have to pay him $25 million a year. So I think the Titans won the trade.
I'm gonna hold
I don't
off on the
think-
better version until we see that man
Well,
play.
fine, whatever. That's my opinion of the prospect. But
My
he's
opinion,
certainly a
AJ Brown
younger,
is that he's
cheaper version.
underrated. I'll give you that. That man was the best
don't think
receiver
so.
out of 2019, in my opinion.
I think oh no, surely not. I don't think he's. Okay, I'll say this. I think he was underrated for quite a while, and now so many people have called him underrated that he's become overrated. Let me put it to you this way: he's not a top 10 receiver in the NFL.
Can you list
Absolutely
that-
no shot.
List out your top 10. I mean, I'm not even disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to see what the top 10 is. If I
don't even need to do it in order. I can just
yeah,
go by
just yeah,
team
just
and
any
by
yeah, go.
division.
Just list 10
All right,
people.
Bills, Stephon Diggs. Dolphins, Tyreek Hill. Bengals, Jamar Chase. I would put. I'll just keep this to the obvious ones for now. All right.
Yeah,
Jefferson.
Sure,
Jefferson.
I'm not even there yet. Jefferson for the Vikings, absolutely. I'd take him over him in a heartbeat. Raiders, Devontae Adams. Chargers, I'd take Keenan Allen over him. Broncos, what? I'll leave that alone. That's an argument for another time between him and Judy. That's a different argument to have. I would say CeeDee Lamb over him. I would say Terry McLaurin over him in a heartbeat. I would say, who else? Mike Evans easily. When healthy, Michael Thomas. But, I'll exclude him just because a lot of people are going to say he's never healthy, which is fair. DJ Moore, I'd take over him. Cooper Kupp. DeAndre Hopkins, obviously he's suspended for PEDs right now, but still.
Okay, yeah,
it's valid.
I agree with
DeAndre
that
Hopkins.
take then. I agree with that take. Definitely not
Debo
top 10 wide
Samuel.
receiver.
Debo Samuel, DK
I mean,
Metcalf.
I would
Top
even
15
say
for sure,
Calvin.
though.
I would
say he's
even
top
say
15.
I think he's borderline top 15. But
Yeah.
the point is, a lot of
But
people
no,
are calling
that's
him
what I was
elite.
saying. Getting back to your Treylon Burks point, that means you're saying Treylon Burks day one is going to be a top 10 wide receiver then.
Let me rephrase then, because you're taking me a little too literally. I think as a prospect, he projects to be a better version of AJ Brown. Does that make sense?
A better version of AJ Brown would rank where in the NFL wide receiving rankings then?
I think Treylon Burks has the potential to be top 10, I would say.
Okay, that's what I just said. Okay, then bet. We on the same
No,
page.
but I don't think AJ Brown is. I don't think he's. I think he's borderline top 15.
Heard you.
Like,
Okay,
a lot of
was there
people are
anything else
talking
you
about
wanted
the
to
guy
add
like
on?
he's elite.
Huh?
No, I was talking to Nate because I cut him off.
Oh, sorry.
I cut him off. That was on me. So I was like, is there anything else you need to add on?
Yeah, I was just gonna say a lot of people are talking about him like he's elite, and they got this incredible threat with that player. It's a good trade. Like, I'm not calling it a bad trade, but people are talking about this like it was an absolute fleece, and it's not. I mean, AJ Brown, good player. Good player. I would not say that he's a guy that strikes fear into your heart. Like you said, who in the NFC is going to cover him? I don't even look at him and say no one on our team could
Jalen
cover
Ramsey
him.
still exists. That's the only thing I needed to
Right.
say once
Like,
he said
I
NFC.
I don't even feel so scared of watching him against the Giants. Like, he'll beat us, surely. Like, he'll do some things for Jalen Hurts. Like, he's not going to get locked down every week. But, like, I don't go into the Eagles game and say, oh, man, what are we going to do against A.J. Brown? Like, what are we going to do? I don't see that. He's a good player. Like, I'll be honest. I think day one, he's not even wide receiver one on that team.
You think
I think Devontae Smith
right
going into year 2 ends up being a better player.
That's a very fair take, bro. Because Devontae Smith, I love that man so much
Oh,
coming
dude,
out last year, bro. He's a monster.
He was the first actual prospect evaluation video that I made on my channel because I was like, dude, people do not appreciate this
He's
guy
gonna
enough.
be different.
His route running is so stupidly good.
Mike, I'm gonna have to pop you out here because we got some callers. We got CJ.
Okay.
And then CJ. Once I get CJ in and out, we got a Kyle right after CJ. So Mike, thank you for calling in, man. Have a good one, bro.
Good. You too.
Before
Adios,
I
Mike.
pop in CJ, though, let me get a couple comments here. This chat is rolling. Marcus, shout out to G-Men for life for tuning in. Marcus says, attention to the offense, defensive competition. Tibbs, Niels, Robinson, Flott, linebackers, guards, safety tight end. He's liking the draft. Let me scroll down here. Hazelnut, thank you. Josh says, do you guys think Gano? This is way more of a topic than it should be. Gano giving up his number 5 to KT.
Oh, God.
Listen.
Come on.
I don't know how Nate feels about this, but in my opinion, the man has every right to want his number. People are
Absolutely.
acting the man like people are acting as if he doesn't have a sentimental value about it because I've seen people legitimately question it, but I believe that he wears 5 because he has 5 kids. And that's why
that's
he wore
cool.
4 before, because at one point in his career he wore 4 as well for the same reason. And also, like, are we really gonna act like he's not one of the best players at his position? And
Yeah,
that we all
absolutely. I
didn't
mean,
love him for being one of the best players at his position? You
like, come on, man.
know, like
we're
what,
talking
over
about
a
this like
decade
this
in the
isn't-
NFL?
Yeah. We're talking about this like Kayvon Thibodeau isn't a rookie. Like, come on. I get that he's a great prospect, and I am super excited to have him, but Graham Gano is our leading scorer. He is one of the best kickers in the NFL. Like, this man has earned the right to keep his number. What are we talking about here?
And then to add on to that, and a couple more comments before I get I'll allow you to go here, CJ. Also, Kayvon can more than afford to pay for it if he really wants it. People are saying like Gano is asking for too much with 250K. First of all, this man was a top 5 pick. That alone gives enough money.
Contract.
But also, he's coming in with NIL money, and he has like 11 endorsements on the side already, bro. He has way more than enough money if he really wants to buy that number out. And once again, Graham Gano got every right to ask for a certain amount of money for that number.
And also, yeah, like, let's be real. I get that maybe he wants it because it was his college number, but the man, like, when you move to the NFL, like, you want to make your NFL brand, you know? Like, I feel like if I was in Kayvon Thibodeau's position, I might say, hey, well, let me get, like, a number in the 90s, and I'll take that number and I'll strike fear into people's hearts with it, and that's going to be my number, you know? Like, it's kind of just, sure, it's kind of just like, you're looking at this from the wrong angle, I think. I mean, Graham Gano, it's not just that he deserves to have it, it's that Kayvon Thibodeau isn't that dude yet. He's a rookie. Like, if he was coming in here and he'd been in the NFL for like 3-4 years and he'd already gotten like 12 sacks, 13 sacks, and then 15 sacks a year, like, then maybe sure you can be like, hey, he's the pass rusher, this guy's the kicker. We can have a discussion about it. But the man's a rookie. He hasn't done anything yet. He still has to establish himself. You know, let him do that on his own.
Also, and then CJ, I'll finally let you go here. I feel like people are blowing that way more seriously than it actually is. I don't think it's that serious as some people are making it out to be. Like, I respect what you're saying, Chris. He says, "Don't care, tell the kicker to give up his number." Nah, I don't even think that Kayvon is taking it that seriously. Like, once again, if he was really taking it seriously, he would have just given him the money. And then let me give a couple shout outs. We got Super Copyright, Flex Lopez, Blue City Empire Sports, Marjorie, as always. Thank you for being in here. New York Chris and Yuri. Go ahead there, CJ.
No, I prefer my edge rushers to wear high numbers anyways.
Facts.
70 something, 90 something.
90s for sure.
I was about to say 60s is usually for
50s.
50s. Really?
50s. Yeah.
56, bro?
No, I get that, but like, aside from 56, which is clearly taken, like, what other good?
I wouldn't mind him wearing 55, bro. Like, just double up 05.
I guess.
I'm sorry to curse this name out into the ether. Was it Olivier 54?
Yeah, he was 54. Yeah.
Well, now Blake's 54.
Oh yeah, that's right. Blake is 54.
Aziz is 51. I still never got why we never gave Aziz 13. I thought he should have been rocking 13 from day one, but we gave him 51.
Wasn't that his college number?
Yeah, that's why I thought it would have been, because it was like last year it was eligible to wear 13, but he didn't.
I just really like high 90s numbers for pass rushers.
That's you know what? That's true. Like, high 90s looks good on pass rushers. Aziz wears 51 right now.
51. That's right. 51. That's right. Okay. Couple of questions, and then I'm going to finish.
What in the world is Miz on, bro?
Miz, yeah, we know. We just said the number is very much taken. We get
Control yourself.
That's what I said, man.
Like, what, bro?
Calm down.
This man called me sick? Go ahead, CJ.
Okay, couple of questions. Number one, very basic. I'm gonna set the over and under at 5.5. How many of our rookies you think wind up being starters?
Under,
yeah.
Sure.
Under.
Oh wait, so sorry. Let me clarify. Like, in the long haul or this year?
This year.
Under for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Dan Bellinger. Obviously, the first 2 picks are starters. I think Dan Bellinger is a starter, and honestly, that's about it for now. Other dudes can earn their way into it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, wan'dale was our 3rd pick off the board in the 2nd round, and I'm not really sure he's going to be a starter either.
Well,
he might be, but I'm not sure.
Well, remember, Shepard is probably going to be out most of the year, recovering from an Achilles injury. So,
I listen. I'm still not sure. We have other players that have more NFL experience, and Wan'Dale Robinson's very raw.
Fair, very fair. Okay, and obviously outside the top 2 picks, favorite value pick.
Ooh, I mean, value pick had to be Darian then.
Not close either. It's got to be.
Yeah. If we didn't pick up Darian, I would have said Dan. People, I don't know. I don't think people realize how much of good pick Dan Bellinger was, bro.
Yeah, it's a strong pick for us, I'd say.
Very strong, yeah.
It's completely outrageous that 3, because we had, correct me if I'm wrong, we had 2 5th-round picks, correct?
No, was it 2 or 3? We had 3 in either the 4th or the 5th. It was one out of the 2.
We had 3 5th-rounders.
Yeah.
3 5th-rounders. So to me, it's insane the fact that a good 3 out of our 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks could potentially be starters.
Yeah.
I will say this.
Right,
Oh,
right
go
now-
ahead, Nate.
I want to cut against the grain here and maybe just take this in a different direction. I will still say Darian Beavers has to be the best value pick, but player that could potentially become the best value pick, Cordell Flott. And I'm going to say this not because right now he's so good. 'Cause right now
fear
he's
the
not.
Flott.
Sure. But the point is, people are underestimating the importance of how young he is. This is a guy that I think as a prospect could have very much benefited from another year in college. But with the fact that he doesn't have to start for 1 year, we could potentially treat him like a red shirt for this year. Let him get in the system. Let our guy Jerome Henderson coach him up a little bit, and then let Wink Martindale get him in the system, because that guy has tons of athletic traits, tons of versatility, and he could end up being a very strong secondary piece for us. The question is going to be, do we think that 20 years old mark is a little too young? Is that just going to be the fact that he missed out on that college development and now it's going to be too fast, too quick? That's what the question is going to be. But I think if we can just give him time to develop, man, the traits are there. The athleticism is there 100%. He's long, he's tall.
He's got great size.
So 2 things real
Absolutely.
quick. Yeah, Miz, yeah, that's my bad, bro. I realize now you didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it bad day. I apologize for that. Secondly, can I get a hashtag fear the Flott in the chat? and thirdly, Nate, I saw somebody
Flott
else
in the
put that
slot,
idea
man.
out there, and I
Flott
never
in the
really
slot.
considered it. But you're right. Somebody said if he spent another year at LSU, it might have been Diggy
Right.
actually.
Of course it was Diggy.
If he
Are you
spent
kidding me?
another year at LSU, he would have been a first-round pick this year. Which,
It's possible.
listen,
Just-
I
and
admitted I didn't watch the guy. So as of right now, I'm like, all right, probably a good depth piece. I'm not hating on the pick. Which, by the way, if you didn't watch somebody and you hate on a pick, bro, you're not doing yourself any type of favors.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
That's facts.
But yeah, no. So like, tell me about him. You know what I'm saying? And CJ as well. If you got any
Sure.
knowledge, go ahead.
Okay, so I did watch the guy. I, like you, had no idea who he was until we drafted him. I believe I said this either on a stream or on Twitter. I was like, all right, well, time to boot up the tape. So I did. Here's the impression. Very raw. As you'd expect for a 20-year-old player, very raw. There's a lot of things to work on in his game. In coverage, it's a little bit of mentals. And I don't say that like, oh, he's not putting effort. No, I mean like there's certain finesse things that you learn with experience, certain coverage little nitpicks that you end up with. Like Bobby Skinner did a film breakdown on him, and there was a rep against, oh, goodness. Who was it against? It might have been, it was UCLA, I think. And he ended up getting beat pretty bad on a double move. Bobby was using it to highlight his recovery ability, and he was talking about how once he got beat to the inside, once he got beat that badly to the inside, he was still able to recover and get back into the play. Still probably should have been a touchdown, but either way, what I'm more focusing on there is what happened was he was playing with inside leverage on the play, and I'm just using this as an example. He was playing with inside leverage, but he didn't understand how to use that leverage. So the guy running the move was a quick out and then back in on a slant. So what happened was he gave a decent head fake, decent shoulder fake. Flott bid on it immediately. He should have given it a second, should have waited a beat, and then driven on the out route if it was there and tried to undercut the ball. That's the right way to play that from inside leverage. Instead, he jumped it early, and the guy basically had a free release back to the inside. So that's just an experience thing. Those are the things you're looking for when you're talking about man coverage. This is a guy with all the agility and all the speed and raw talent in the world. He just doesn't know how to use it yet. And then you're looking at other things you can do with him. What really excites me about the guy as a prospect, and why I say that he could be a high value pick for us later down the road, is that he can do more than just nickel. He can do more than just cover man to man. I think this is a guy that could potentially, in some certain packages, be a dime backer for us if he puts on a few pounds. I think this is a guy that could potentially play certain safety roles. This is a guy that could even play outside in some packages when we need him to. So I would say that this is a versatile piece, potentially, if we develop him. And I think that, like I said, maybe not right now our best value, but it could be. It
So
really
CJ,
could be.
CJ, go ahead, give your thoughts, and then of course I want you to ask whatever you had on mind when you popped in. I want to say Kyle in the background here. Okay, so Kyle sees the message. Anybody that pops in, just make sure you check private chat. I'll let you know when I'll get you on. Go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, no, it's just, and again, I don't mean to continue to beat on a dead horse, but the more and more I, especially looking at these late round picks, I can't help but feel, but outside of maybe Andrew, I don't think outside of maybe Andrew, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen this much high value as far as mid as well as late round picks. As long as I've been a fan, like the amount of starters that we could potentially have just in between our late round picks. I think Darian Beavers has an excellent shot at starting. I think Davison has a good chance of starting, and Munson and oh my goodness, who is the other linebacker that we
Micah
took?
McFadden.
Yeah, Mike
And
McFadden out of Indiana.
as well as Micah McFadden. Joe Shane just may have found our two future inside linebackers within.
I will say once again, like I was saying earlier, cool the Jets a little bit. Obviously, I need to put this out there. I am no expert. I'm just giving my opinion based off of what I watched on film, right? I'm not that big of a fan of Micah McFadden as I've seen a lot of other people are. I think he could be a great, like extra blitzer, especially up the middle. I think he's really good, when it comes to tackling people. And at least for, starting off, he could develop, obviously. At least starting off, I think he's going to be a great special teams contributor. That's where I kind of am right now with him.
Yeah, I think there's certain players that you watch in college and you see how successful they are in college, and you just think about whether it's going to translate to the league. I think I'll put it this way. I think he's a lot more of a college player than an NFL player. I don't think Micah McFadden maybe has the traits to work in space like inside linebackers are required to right now. I don't necessarily think that he's a guy that can make up for that lack of traits with incredible instincts either. So I would say that I don't really see him being a starter. I think he could potentially be a quality depth guy, maybe a rotational linebacker in certain packages you want to use him in. But I don't feel comfortable saying that he's going to be a starter.
That's fair.
So
And then
I
do
think
see
he has more
yeah.
upside than Tate. Before I go,
I don't know. I think it's pretty similar. I don't think either of them really jumps off the screen. I would say ideally both of them could develop into being your LB3. I don't really like either of them to be starters in any way long term. I'll say Darian Beavers has an outside shot to develop into being a starter. That much I will agree with. But Micah McFadden, I don't know.
And then real quick, I do see the chat talking about this one man a little bit. We got a lot of undrafted free agents. I haven't even had a chance to read up on them, but one of the popular ones, Austin Allen, the tight end.
Hey yo, Kush, you got to do me a
what's up?
favor and tell me when I'm way too loud because the chat just told me.
Oh well, I've only seen one person see it. You sound fine to me, and I have everybody running through my audio interface right now, so you sound fine to me. And also, I can see when your audio is peaking, and yours has been in the green all this time. I'm not sure. JP, if anybody else hears it though, let me know. I could be messing up sometimes, and I'll turn down Nate's volume a little bit. But yeah, Austin Allen was also really interesting. The tight end signing. I don't know if you got any thoughts on that, CJ, or what was your second question? If you got a different one. Is CJ frozen?
Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think. I mean, to be quite honest, I haven't done a ton of homework on him. But based on the small amount of film that I have seen, to me he's more of a hybrid wide receiver of sorts. He's far from being a true inline blocking tight end. He's more. I would say.
It's
I
fine.
would
You don't
say
gotta, like you said, you didn't really get to do your homework on him. It's fine. Don't really need to
Also,
give
this
a detailed answer.
with Austin Allen, I just wonder, like, the dude clearly is not exactly a remarkable prospect, because obviously, but I just wonder, how difficult would it be for any tight ends coach, maybe a wide receivers coach, someone, just someone, to say, hey, Austin Allen, we're going to put you in 11 personnel as our tight end around the goal line because you're goddamn
huge.
6'9".
Yeah.
You're 6'9", so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some motion so that essentially you get put one-on-one with whoever's in your zone,
And just
we're
catch
just
the
going
ball.
to chuck it up. Just go get it, big dog. Like, I feel like, granted, football is not that simple. It's really not. But, like, this feels like one of those things that just, there's no way around. You can't scheme to out-jump a 6'9" human. He's just massive. He's huge. Did you see this guy, like, on the field?
I have not seen him on the field, but I've seen his measurements. I do know that he was that one guy in the Giants Life episode that we're talking about, because there was a little bit of investigative work to figure out who that was. So
Dude,
that's kind of funny.
He played it in Nebraska. He made the rest of the line look small. It's ridiculous. You know how big you have to be to make the rest of a Big Ten offensive line look small?
Why, when I look up Austin Allen, I'm getting a baseball player? That's hilarious.
Don't worry about it. It's
But
I can get
CJ,
the same thing, but
let me get your last thought / question, and we're going to talk about it, then I'll get Kyle in here.
All right, well, it's not really a question. I kind of just want to plug my own stuff real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen, I am back. I am back with brand new content this weekend. So please, pretty please, subscribe to CJ Talk Sports. Kush, behave yourself.
All right. Unnecessary comment at the end there.
just
but
sticking in the jab at the end.
Have a good one. He popped out before I could pop him out. We got Kyle in here. What's up, Kyle? How you doing, man? I believe this is your first time calling in, so what's up, bro?
Yeah, first off, thank you, man. I appreciate you all. And to all the Giants fans, there's no better fans than Giants fans. Thank you all for letting me be on here.
No
Facts.
problem. Listen, bro, I said all the time, it's you guys, the viewers, and the fans that make all this possible, bro. So pat yourself on the back as well. Go ahead.
I just wanted to know I'm Scorpio Emperor King from the chat earlier. So
the
I'm
guy that I
very-
need the optimism from every day.
I
So
just gotta
he is
say
not,
this,
in fact, Fisk. That's important to know.
I don't know who Fisk is, but I'm letting you gentlemen know I'm middle aged. I've been watching the Giants since I was a diaper sniper. I've never been more anxious for this year. And I really mean this. Outside of any major injuries, I really feel the Giants, man. Again, you guys know how the NFC goes every year.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Dallas got what it takes to keep going up. And of course, the Eagles, I still don't think. I mean, granted, they had a great draft, but I still feel we're going to win the NFC East. And I meant what I said, 15-2, unless any major injuries. I've never been more excited for football season and forever. And I'm nervous. This is my first time ever doing something like this. So if I
You're
sound
doing
nervous,
great, man.
You're doing great, bro. You're fine, bro. You're fine.
I just want to, real quick. So that is, like we talked about, very optimistic. I respect the optimism. Let me ask you a couple of questions, just because this is a take that needs to be examined.
sure.
Obviously, and I think it's fair to say that even someone who is as confident in the team as you are, this team has weaknesses, and they are pretty clear to see on the roster. I would say pretty obvious. So I want to just gauge your concern level for some of these things. So if you can, take a second if you need to, but give me a 1 to 10, and I'm going to run down how concerned you are about the following things. Okay?
Hold up, 1 to 10, like 1 to like. I'm the
1
most-
being not concerned at all, 10 being it's really terrible. Okay?
Gotcha.
All right. First off, the fact that Blake Martinez is probably our only starting caliber inside linebacker, and he's coming off an ACL tear.
I do worry about our linebackers as a whole. Yes,
So let me get a 1 to 10 on that.
I would say a 7.
Okay. So we're starting off honest. I like that. Next up, the fact that James Bradbury had a massive down year last year and he is going into his age 29 season.
I don't worry about him. I actually hope that we keep him because Adoree Jackson is okay, but he's not really long-term consistent with staying healthy. James Bradbury right now is our best corner. I think the Giants it wouldn't be cool for them to let him go. The money we're paying him, he's worth it. He's still a top 10 corner. Let's not forget.
That's you know what? That's an argument for another time. But next thing, the fact that our wide receivers just cannot stay on the field whatsoever.
I'm worried about that, but again, for this year, I'm more optimistic. I'm thinking as long as there's no long.
I will say he did also say his take was based off there is no injuries. Yeah,
that's very true.
Because I mean, we're snacks, fellas, and the main thing is our O line. This is our best.
Very improved
that we've had even before Gettle. Well, since the Super Bowl, basically.
Okay, so a couple of more things here. The fact that our interior offensive line is still pretty weak.
All I know is of the 5 linemen, Feliciano's not weak. He's an OG veteran.
Well, he's also never played center in the NFL before.
He has. It's just not he's never started there. But he's played center before.
That's what I'm talking about. He hasn't started at center in the NFL before.
Put it this way. I'm going to phrase it this way. As long as we can just get to average line play across the board, which I think will be better than average. If we can get to at least average, Danny Dimes is going to make these brothers look stupid out here. Watch.
Okay. So then I'm going to take that as not really worried about the IOL at all. So then last one. And I'm going to make this a little bit more specific. So Brian Daboll, the man who's bringing with him the offense that we're all such big fans of, when he was in Bills country up in Buffalo, one of the concepts that he built that system on was a deep crossing pattern called spear. So what you're looking for on spear is a quarterback who, and I want to try and finish this first because I know there's going to be an immediate objection here. You're looking for a quarterback that, number one, can read it properly. Number two, can actually make the throw with pace, on time, and beat hanging corners. And number three, can escape the pocket and keep the play alive, assuming that play does break down versus blitz, versus different coverage looks that you're not anticipating, et cetera, et cetera. So my question for you then is, are you at all concerned that when Josh Allen was running that system, when he was, and still is, I should say, running that system, as long as he's under center, they essentially have a way to bail themselves out of trouble because he can make throws with his arm through tight windows that really aren't there for other quarterbacks. And he can do things with his feet that a lot of quarterbacks can't do. And when he's on the run, he can out-throw a defense vertically, which is something that really is game-breaking at times. Are you concerned at all that Daniel Jones probably can't replicate that level of play?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
But let me explain myself. Now, mind you,
go right ahead.
I've seen many quarterbacks play, okay?
Sure.
I'm from an era where quarterbacks, you weren't just expected to be a superstar your first 3 years. We've seen Daniel Jones have the second fastest run time, that long play where he tripped and fell. It was the second fastest run by a quarterback, only second to Lamar Jackson. I've seen this man throw 5 touchdowns in a game. I've seen him throw 3 touchdowns multiple times in multiple games. He's not one of those Coy Detmer types. He's not one of those Dave Brown types.
Wow, Coy Detmer, what a name. Sorry, continue.
He's not like a Chase Daniels or a backup. Like, he really, with just an average or above average line, this dude is going to be elite.
Yeah, I'll say this. I think a lot of us are very optimistic for what Jones can do this year. I personally am really looking forward to it. I think Daboll just said that he's gonna kind of let Jones off the leash a little bit. He's gonna hope for Jones just pull the trigger, be confident with it, sling the ball around. Personally, I think that's great. I will say, I think like I mentioned, it's gonna be interesting to see whether or not he can maintain that same level of production in the offense now that he's not gonna have a Josh Allen type guy to bail him out of bad play calls.
So first of all, no, I was just gonna give a shout out to, I see Vinny G-Man in chat, CJ CT in chat, Marcus Daniels. There was a couple people that popped in I knew are old time viewers from a minute ago. JP 1880, and then to the comment that Nate made about Daboll sort of letting him loose. I've always said that Daniel was best when he was kind of a gunslinger quarterback. and I thought that they took that away from him the past couple of years. So I love that if he sticks to his
Absolutely.
word, that's exactly where he's going to go back.
I just think that if that line with who we just got, I mean, with that line, if they can just buy him that extra second, man, can be a lifetime and can just basically keep him upright, as well as Saquon coming back healthy. Again, I mean, people like to put Daniel Jones down, but with quarterbacks, he's done really, really great things. I know he holds on to the ball long and he's had some fumbles. I'm not disputing that. But he's also done, it's like they bash him for what he's not done good, but they don't put the same energy into what he's done great. Again, he's not a Coy Detmer. He's not a backup. Like, he's done some major good things. And they don't call him Danny Dimes for throwing a crappy ball. They call him Danny Dimes because he puts it right on the money.
I will ask this.
Fellas.
One thing, Nate, before you respond, I want to ask this kind of as a follow-up to you bringing up what he's done great. And this is my question, similar to what Nate was saying on the level of concern. Even though we can agree the coaching staff did, in fact, have an effect on how he played these past couple of years, that being Jason Garrett and Joe Judge,
Are you still not but go on.
Are you still not concerned that the last time we truly saw greatness from him was his rookie year?
Put it this way, again, I mean, we're all grown here. We've all watched a lot of football. The only way I can answer that is winning teams have a formula for the most part. From ownership to head coach to your coordinators, there's chemistry. There's coaches who've been there outside of that needle in a haystack story. For the most part, if your team and coaches are together, he's going into his fourth year. This is his third head coach.
Fourth year, third head coach. Yeah.
So again, it's easy for people who don't play the game or who has played the game to bash him, but there's been no other superstar quarterbacks who've been in a position like that. That's really to the playoffs or did anything great. Like again, I mean, they took away his fifth year option for the team because it'll save the team money. But if he just gets better this year, they'll franchise him next year. I just really feel with just as long as our line can just stay average or slightly above average, and our key players don't get injured for 6+ weeks or have long-term injuries, and they play together a while and have some chemistry, all teams have that, fellas. There's no, all teams have that. Now, it's one thing if we had that and he still couldn't make those throws or make those choices and he's still fumbling, then, hey, the whole fan base can say, hey, he's Dave Brown 2.0, fine. But he hasn't – you don't throw 5 touchdowns in that league and multiple 3 touchdowns in this league and do what he's done and be some bum. He's not a bum.
Yeah. I'll say this. I think when we're talking about Daniel Jones and everyone that clowns on him and shits all over the guy, I think the problem, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, and I'll probably continue to say it because this nonsense doesn't go away, there's just so many compiling reasons that make Daniel Jones such an unnecessarily hated quarterback. The poor guy he's in a situation where no matter what he does, he's gonna get memed on. Because the guy, like I've said this many, many times, as a young quarterback in the NFL, his issues that he's had, his problems, the concerns with his game, anything that's gone wrong along the way, has not really been much worse than most other young quarterbacks in the NFL. Most of it has been pretty much on the same level of ugly, if not better, than most other guys on his career path, on his trajectory. The problem is that everything that he's done wrong has looked dumber than the other things that other quarterbacks do wrong. Like other quarterbacks throw interceptions, he has fumbles. Other quarterbacks miss wide open touchdowns, he runs for 80 yards and trips near the goal line. Like everything that Jones does is just so goddamn memeable that it's such low-hanging fruit for these people to just lash out at. And since he's a New York Giants player, people are just going to love to hate on him. So Jones, I think he just gets so much unnecessary hate. And it's gotten to the point where when you're online as a Giants fan, we've all had this argument so many times over and over and over. And it's just banging your head into a wall. Eventually it gets to a point where you're just like, why am I even defending him anymore? If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't.
True. I'm again. I mean, I agree 100%, and I'm not making excuses for him. Please, I just want this to be known. But I like to judge all players even keel.
Yeah.
It's one thing if he's had those tools and they played together and he's not doing those things long term. But when you got a new coach every year or every other year, new coordinators, when those coordinators, those playbooks are literally learning like a different language every year. So not only do you got to continue to get better, you got to learn a new system, new coaches, new players. But he is the quarterback, so the quarterbacks take the blame and the praise. But like say Kayvon Thibodeau, he's a high draft pick. He's
Yep.
going to have that same pressure next year. If he gets just 6 sacks and 25 tackles, they're going to say, well, Giants should have got Sauce Gardner, or
Oh God.
they should have traded back, or they should have did something. So it goes for all those key players. I'm more worried about the linebackers and cornerback because again, I like James Bradbury. He's not a top 5, but I think he is one of the OGs, and I just don't think we got anybody better to replace him. I don't think there's any free agent out there right now, unless there's be a trade that's better than him.
Yeah.
I'm worried about that. Linebacker and a good, clean shutdown corner.
So let me address
I
the
look at
chat
it-
real quick.
Yeah,
Just real quick,
well,
let me
just-
address the chat.
Okay, go ahead.
Because we got 80 people in here. Once again, make sure you hit that like button, share the stream out, subscribe if you aren't already. Check out Nate. I believe Nate will be having content up on his channel soon.
I
right?
have been posting content.
There you go.
recently,
He's
actually.
back. Go back over there. Check out Nate. Nate Talks Football. And of course, big shout out to Kyle. He said it's his first time. You're doing a great job, man.
You're doing great on channel for the first
Yeah.
time, bro.
And then shout
man,
out
I
to
appreciate
Randy in here as well, and Duran Osman, a member. And then go ahead, guys.
Yeah, I'll first off thank you for that. I appreciate it. I actually did now that you mention it, I know I haven't uploaded in a long time, but I just did upload a video, so you can check that out. But I think one thing that we need to address is, like you mentioned offhand there, Kyle, Kayvon Thibodeau with the expectations, and someone in chat asked what the expectations were for him this year. It's
Yep.
Randy.
Shout out to Randy. Yep.
And I was gonna loop around back to that, but this is a good segue. I think Giants fans need to understand a few things. Number one, when you're looking at a rookie, and I'll extend this, not even just rookies. When you're looking at players on the field, you cannot get your blinders on and only evaluate them based on the numbers in the stat sheet. There is absolutely no way that will ever give you a good indication of what happened in the year. It just doesn't happen. There is no situation where stats tell the full story in football. It doesn't happen. So when you look at a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau, he's an example of that. And a lot of people are going to be upset in this coming year because he's not going to have a stupidly high sack total probably. Odds are he's not. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, why did we draft him? He's overhyped. He's all this, he's all that. They're not going to understand that the guy's going to be doing his job in other ways. In Wink Martindale's system, and a lot of people think they understand it and they don't, in Wink Martindale's system, having edge rushers isn't a necessity, but it is a luxury. And when you have Kayvon Thibodeau, people they look at the system and they say, oh, he's blitzing a lot, so clearly the linebackers are meant to get all the sacks and the defensive linemen are meant to absorb the double teams, and that's just how it is. No, a lot of blitzes are designed for one-on-ones. When you're blitzing, it's about math. It's about the numbers game at the line of scrimmage. And a lot of times when you're sending 5 or you're sending 6, you're trying to do that and catch the offense off guard and get a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau one-on-one with his tackle, or get Leonard Williams one-on-one with a weak guard, or Azeez Ojulari with a weak left or right tackle, depending on what the alignment is. The point is, whatever you're doing with that blitz, it's to exploit numbers and exploit matchups. Kayvon Thibodeau might not get all the sacks in the world, but he's a weapon for Wink Martindale. He is a guy that needs to be respected in the pass rush. So when he's blitzing, they're going to need to pay attention to him and potentially overcommit to him. When you see free rushers on blitzes, usually it's because they're not using even numbers and they end up double teaming someone anyway, and then you've got a free rusher. Those sacks aren't really for the free rusher. That's for the guy that absorbed the double team. Kayvon Thibodeau can be that guy a lot. In other reps, they may send 5 or 6, and it'll be the same number as whoever's in protection, and Kayvon Thibodeau is going to get a one-on-one with a tackle, and he's going to make him look silly. And then people are going to say, oh my God, I was right all along. Kayvon Thibodeau, he's the savior. He's all this, he's all that. The point being, like Kyle said, you have to be even-keeled. You have to come into this with the understanding that Kayvon Thibodeau is not going to be an every rep one-on-one, every rep you're facing double teams, just get through it guy. That's not what this system is about. The idea is it's organized chaos. That's what the blitz packages are about. So when you're looking at Kayvon Thibodeau, don't say, hey, I expect him to get 12 sacks this year, because odds are it's not going to happen. You should be looking at him and saying, hey, I expect him to be a threat at the line of scrimmage. I expect him to be a tangible impact on the game. I expect to see sacks every week and be able to point where Kayvon Thibodeau was on that play. So I think if we're talking about expectations, we need to understand that those expectations don't exist in the stat sheet. They exist in the game tape. Sorry, that was way longer of a rant than I expected it to be. I really thought that would be just a quick tangent, but I ended up talking for like a minute. So y'all can say what you want to say about this. Agree, disagree.
Go ahead, Kyle. I'll let you go first.
I mean, I don't disagree at all, but I just can't emphasize how excited I am because I think our defense is our strong part, is our strong point. What, not this past year, but the year before last, we were a top 10 defense. We got most of them coming back. I just truly feel, not just for the offense, but we just need no major injuries. Nobody injured more than 2 or 3 weeks, have them consistently with that line. I promise you, fellas, you guys don't know me from Adam, but I promise you, if that line can be average or a little above average, Giants will win the NFC East and be in the playoffs. And hopefully you guys will have me back on later this fall, and I'll be like, fellas, I told you, because it's happening. And also the best thing is, at least in the next handful of years, we'll have a more competitive team where you know they're getting better every year, where what they're doing is actually working. Yes, I would want them to win the whole Super Bowl, yes. But as long as I want my team every year to be in contention that they're at least good every year. I don't want to be picking in the top 15 or top 10 every year. We've been bootlickers the last 6 years, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just know that feeling that I had, man, I know the whole franchise is turning around, and no matter what, there's no better fans than Giants fans. So.
I mean, yeah, listen, man, there's nothing that Nate said I disagree with, because what it came down to is have expectations, but have realistic expectations. There's going to be plays where he looked like the number 5 pick in the NFL draft, possibly the best defensive player out the NFL draft, but there's also going to be plays where he looks like a rookie, right? To keep it short, fair, and simple. And also, somebody asked this earlier as well. I think CJ's bold take was that he's going to have 14 sacks and tie the NFL record for a rookie.
Wow.
I'm not going to put a sack total on it, but I'll say I believe he could get like more than 6 or 7, all right? It would be amazing to me if he could tie the Giants rookie sack record, which was set last year by Azeez Ojulari at 8, or if you want to go the unofficial route, Lawrence Taylor's 9.5. It would be amazing if you could do either of those, and I would be happy with either of those. 14 as a rookie, that's definitely a little bit out there. I'll tell you that. And then Kyle, listen, man, I have Mike Green lined up here, but go ahead if you have any last thoughts or any last question or topic that you want us to discuss before I pop Mike on.
Not at all. First off, again, thank you all so much. I'm honored and grateful. And remember, fellas, no better fans than Giants fans. And thank you so much. You guys have a great night. I'll be listening and chatting afterwards.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, bro.
Man.
Have a good one. And it's nice to put a face to the Scorpio King account. As Nate said, we now know it's not a burner.
All right, thanks, fellas.
Great to have you on, man.
Oh, that was Mike. Mike, okay, yeah. Mike Nixon said that, not CJ. Thank you for correcting me there, Mike.
And by the way, before we start with Mike here, sorry, I just want to bring up one thing. Yeah. This will be a quick little topic, but I want to get everyone's thoughts on this, chat included. So some of y'all may have seen this. I'm sure most of you are aware of the annual Run Rich Run event, which is fantastic. Raises money for St. Jude Children's Hospital. Rich Eisen, one of my favorite broadcast journalists, etc. The last couple of years, he's been doing a little bit of a variation where he has celebrities and NFL Network broadcasters run it with him. Mm-hmm. And one guy who ran the 40 with him this year, in the last couple of days actually, was RG3, Robert Griffin III. Turns out he ran a 4.48 40-yard dash. And now NFL teams have been calling his agent.
There's no way, bro.
There's
no way.
There is a way. You can look this up, bro. Multiple sources.
So you
are
telling
on this.
me instead of just, bringing the man in for a workout to actually get that information, they just saw it
They
On the
saw
Run
it
Rich
on
Run
Run
thing?
Rich Run.
Wow.
Saw the man run a 4.48 40-yard dash after not playing football for how many years? I don't know.
No,
and
he's
said,
been the
"Hey."
Ravens' backup just a couple years ago, wasn't he?
Right, but it's been like 2 years.
2020. Yeah.
2020.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's been
then.
2 seasons. But we saw that. He ran a 4.48 on television, and they said, hey, why not? So now this man, and his contract with the broadcasting company does allow him to return to football if he wants to. So we could legitimately see the return of RG3 to the NFL. And I think that is absolutely hilarious.
Well, it would be nice because he was a good backup for the Ravens just a season ago. So yeah, why not? Go ahead, Mike.
Now I find that quite interesting that RG3 just run a 40 and he gets a look. But Colin Kaepernick got full workout tapes and they just trash him. I just find that quite interesting.
Well,
Mike, you raise an excellent point, but I
yeah.
also do want to say, if Colin Kaepernick ran a 4.48, I bet anything he's getting looks.
Well, I was gonna say RG3 has always been an insane athlete, even back when he was healthy. And what was he, the second overall pick? Was he? For the
He was
Redskins?
high.
He was very high,
you're
right?
Still
absolutely
second
right.
overall pick.
But then
You're-
also, we all know what the situation is with Kaepernick, man. He's been blackballed.
Sure.
There's no interesting to it. They should have blackballed
No
him.
shot. I'm just also saying that 4.48 for a
True.
quarterback is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is like quite insane, I must admit.
And
You
the
know
man
what?
hasn't been
First-
sorry. The man hasn't been like around the game. Like, that's crazy. Anyway, sorry.
But that
Continue.
don't mean he stopped working out though.
That's true. That's true.
But,
That's a good point.
well, first of all, it's good to see you fellas after the draft. Hey, Hub. I said Sauce might go to the Jets. We
Hmm.
might get Kipper though. It's amazing
You
how
right.
everything played. I didn't see
You right.
Stingley going to the
I
Texans.
don't know
didn't
if
see that.
anybody saw
Me
Stingley going
either.
to the Texans, man. That was
No,
crazy.
those
But
rumors
I-
came
I
out
just-
like the day or two before the draft.
No, it was the day of the draft, bro. I saw tweets the day of. I never saw tweets before that.
No.
I'm just saying, like I said this months ago. It started to turn, and then when it happened, I said, well, I'm glad I'm right. We got an elite pass rusher and the best tackle in the whole draft at 7. Ain't no way.
By the way, Nate,
But-
remember the Jerry Jones flashing his board at everybody?
Yeah.
Evan Neal was at the top of that board with Kayvon Thibodeau. I just want to put
Oh,
that out
that's
there.
delicious.
Yeah.
That
we
is
got
delicious.
their
That
top
is
two players.
That is hilarious.
That makes
know
me
what?
feel warm and fuzzy inside.
Me too. But you know what, though? I don't know if y'all get a chance to watch ESPN, but gentlemen, I'm tired of the disrespect. It's getting old. When they discuss the NFC East, they discuss America's trash and the flocks in Philadelphia. We don't get mentioned. The Deadskins don't get mentioned. Oh, I'm sorry. The Commanders. They ain't the
I'm sorry.
Deadskins anymore.
Commies.
I'd ask that you use their proper name, which is commies. So
Yeah, bro. The
Commies.
commies.
Show,
Yeah,
show,
I got
show
you,
the proper
commies.
respect, Mike. Come on.
Oh, okay, all right, I'll be respectful for the comics. But ever since the Eagles got AJ Brown, now they just all of a sudden the favorite. Like
And I
Jalen
see-
Hurts just
I see
now
BPS in the chat,
become an
so I
accurate
better see
passer.
him call in.
I see he just accurate passer now, huh? So
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts is just gonna be that guy.
I guess so.
Interesting.
Our boy AJ Brown's
You know
gonna
what?
look real good watching the ball sail over his head.
If you get the ball to him first, because
You know, Kayvon
Last
and
time I
Aziz gonna
checked-
be getting to that, man. That's all I'm saying.
exactly. You can't do all this running. You're gonna be running into pressure, especially on the blitz defense.
I mean, we're also talking like Philadelphia has coaches who know how to make an offensive game plan, so that's something.
Well, they can run the ball, but you know,
And they don't know when
stopped
to.
easily. That part.
I mean, the play calling in Philly, a lot of people aren't talking about this. The play calling in Philly was horrendous.
Yeah,
at times.
I'm forgetting his name, bro. Saquon's backup out of Penn State. Don't they criminally underutilize him or something?
Yeah,
Miles
Miles
Sanders?
Sanders.
Yeah, Miles.
Yeah.
I don't know why I
horrendous.
forgot his name, but they criminally underutilize Miles Sanders.
That man must have keyed Howie Roseman's car or something, because it is awful what they did to that poor guy.
Oh, I just peeped
know
this in
what?
chat. Marjorie said that Kayvon's nickname is Diesel. I can rock with that.
Yeah,
Shout
I
out
can
to
do with
Diesel
that.
from
I do that.
WCW. That's old school right there. Mm-hmm.
I also remember he made an appearance at a Royal Rumble, and one of the announcers legitimately could not stop himself from going, "Holy shit!" on live television.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm like my guy that just left off. This offense gonna be explosive
Yeah.
because it's a mixture of Buffalo and Kansas City with weapons.
Let me hear you talk about Wan'dale
People-
Robinson, our second round pick in this offense.
I wonder if Robinson is gonna be a disaster for defenses. Because one, you don't know where he's gonna line up. Two, he can play special teams. And then three, he can come out the backfield and catch screens. He can catch slants over the middle. He can take big hits and hold on to the ball. I'm a Florida Gator fan. I've personally seen this
Okay.
man destroy us.
Was he part
So,
of
I
the breaking
wanna-
of the streak?
Yes.
He was part of that? Yeah, okay. So you know him well.
Yes. So when everybody was like, "Oh my God, why did we draft him?" I'm like, "Okay, cool. That's my points on the board. Appreciate this, Shane. Thank you." And this is coming from a Gator fan. So when we draft him, I'm like, we got him, Tony, and Shepard that can go in the slot. Oh, it's a wrap. Because you don't know. First of all, we can have all three of them with Saquon Barkley and Kenny Galladay on the field at the same time. And we're tight ends, and we want to sprinkle a tight end in. You don't know where the ball is going. And that's the beautiful part about this year compared to the last 2 years, because it was predictable. We ain't predictable no more.
Oh, Jason Garrett, you could
So
bet
with Joe-
that man was always going to throw like a comeback route or, a stop.
For those who don't know how this mechanic works in Madden, you can make custom playbooks and choose from the entire library of Madden plays, and there's a certain number of plays that you can put in your playbook. Jason Garrett's was all curls. Every single one. Pages and pages of curl concepts.
And we got a tight end that can block and catch now, and Bellinger. Gentlemen, we beat the Eagles last year
Yeah.
with Daniel Jones on a broken neck, a scheme that belonged in the 1940s. And we still won that game. The only
Yep.
reason we didn't sweep the Eagles or Dallas, because Dallas, we was hurt.
And we were in that Dallas game until that man got extremely concussed.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Exactly. And nobody want to bring this up, but Washington robbed us in Washington last year. The
Yeah.
NFL admitted it.
Yeah.
Week 18, we didn't give a damn. We was like, you know what? Cancun. We was in Cancun mode. No offense.
Vacation plans. Yeah,
So,
I mean, I
Nate,
think this
Nate, there's a
Giants
question
team...
for you in the chat, by the way, by JP.
Oh, there is. Actually, I believe we talked about this a little bit earlier, JP. But yeah, I think it's absolutely hilarious if it's true, but I don't really think it is. We talked about that a bit earlier. If you want to just go back real quick and hear my full take on that, but I think, Mike, you're hitting on something that is very close to my heart. Something that's very important to me. If you've heard me talk about offense, and you've heard me talk about the offensive side of the football, you know just how highly I value explosive plays. I believe that in the modern NFL, explosive plays are what make offenses run. And oh my goodness, do the Bills know how to generate them. I think Brian Daboll is going to be the savior of our explosive play rate. Jason Garrett is a man who would rather spend 7 minutes of a quarter on one drive and then kick a field goal. Brian Dable is a man who would like to rip off 50-yard chunks at a time and shove the football down your throat. Personally, I'm much more of a believer in the latter than the former. So I'm excited to see what this offense does with explosive plays, how many times we can get into the red zone faster, how many opportunities we can get to put the ball in the end zone. I am just excited to see this look like a real-life functioning football team on offense.
When was the last time we had a real life functioning offense, man? It's been years.
You know what?
I can pinpoint it. Okay, so 2016, kind of.
Nah, 2016 was a terrible offense.
No, but there were moments where the offense looked like an actual real-life team.
I would say 2015, man. Honestly.
Yeah, that's the last time it's definitive. So solid 7 years. Solid 7 years without a real-life Giants offense.
Because, yeah, even with Shermer here and with DJ having a really good rookie year, it was just at times it looked like a solid offense. Not all the time.
You know what? I'm gonna tell something to y'all that y'all didn't know. Back in 2012, I made a tryout with the Giants.
Really?
Really?
What
For
position?
what position?
I had tight end. I was gonna be behind Martellus Bennett.
Damn.
Wow. Do you have any type of Giants like memorabilia left over from that?
That's how I was able to get the chain that I had showed you.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool.
I had life-saving surgery. I had gangrene in the body, and that's what ended my career.
Yeah,
I didn't get a chance to even get to training camp.
That's tough, bro.
But
it's still an accomplishment that you got that tryout, though, man.
But I saw the explosiveness of the Victor Cruz and the Akeem Nicks.
Yes, sir.
And the rookie Ruben Randall. And this when Eli just come, of course, fresh out the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
You know, I saw the explosiveness, how it looked up close in person. And the personnel that we had. You know, with Ahmad Bradshaw and Brown in the backfield, you know, and rookie David Wilson. Ramsey Bar, I saw it up close in person. This team can represent that because we have height, we got speed, we got shiftiness, and we got creativity, something that we've been missing the last 2 years.
Let me ask you directly, Mike, since you played the tight end position at a high level, about the guy that we drafted. I like him a lot, Dan Bellinger out of San Diego State.
Okay. He's physical at the line of scrimmage, which is important because that means he's going to be valuable in the run game. And he knows how to angle his routes to get him open. So, and more importantly, he catches with his hands and not his body.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of problem with Evan Ingram, he couldn't catch with his hands consistently.
Evan Ingram always had to jump when he tried to catch a ball. Y'all realize that? Every single time he made a catch, a man would jump in the air for no reason.
It's so cringe.
Because he didn't have confidence he going to make the catch. When you got confidence you're going to make the catch, you're not going to jump unless it's like a jump ball situation where you necessarily have to jump. Well, if the pass is perfect and right on point, you ain't got to jump for that. You just got to let it come to you. Make the catch, secure the balls, protect yourself, and if you can, make a play.
Now,
But the main thing,
go ahead. Finish off.
the main thing is you make the play because you want to stay ahead of the down and distance. So even though this may be a 5-yard catch, that 5-yard catch is important because 2nd and 5 is better than 2nd and 10. So we'll be able to stay ahead of the chains, I believe, this year, especially with the more improved offensive line and healthier playmakers. So that's why I say this offense can be explosive this upcoming year.
Nate, I know you had something to say, but real quick, Mike Grieve, what's your alma mater? What school did you go to?
Alcorn State.
What was it?
Alcorn
State.
Alcorn State. I bet. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, I was thinking about something. When Evan Ingram is the guy that's dropping all the footballs, all this wonderful things going on, I think the more we wonder why that's happening, the more the question becomes: is it just his hands, which is what it seems like, or could there be something else? And I just am now thinking about this. he loved to jump whenever the ball was in the air. I don't understand really why, but my working theory, and this I'll explain where this comes from in a second, is that when he runs more with the middle of his feet than with his toes. And that leads to his head going up and down as he's running with each step. That makes it difficult to track the ball effectively. Now, if you're jumping through the air, you're on a steady trajectory, and it's easier to track that football coming into your hands. The reason I say this is they teach this to baseball outfielders. And when you're running to catch a fly ball, you have to make sure that your head's not rocking up and down. Otherwise, you're fighting the ball to try and catch it. I wonder if maybe that might be happening with Evan Ingram.
Good theory.
You know what? It's confidence, man.
Possibly,
you don't have confidence. It's here. You gotta believe that if this ball is thrown at you, you're going to make the catch, regardless of how many people are coming to knock the hell out of you, and how many hands are around. Your hands are going to be the one that brings this down. Another thing a lot of people don't know is that my mama went to school in Mississippi Valley in the 80s.
Damn.
My father was a starting running back with Jerry Rice.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So Jerry Rice, for about 4 or 5 years, taught me how to catch the football.
That's incredible.
So he told me that when the ball is coming to you, be sure your hands is in a position to make the catch. Don't launch at it. And don't lean back from it. Stay in a steady position. Because if you change the angle, that's going to help who's ever covering you make their angle better to make a play on the ball. And it could be incomplete or worse, an interception.
Mm-hmm.
So confidence is what's wrong with Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram just believe that I am the baddest son bitch on the field. He will be a top five tight end.
And maybe he does
speed.
believe that in Jacksonville. Who knows?
I mean, yeah, because it's like, honestly, it's kind of the same situation. He got receivers around him. He got 2 running backs. And he got a quarterback that's supposedly supposed to be the golden child to get him the football.
Mm-hmm.
And Trevor Lawrence. Now, the question is, can Trevor Lawrence make this work? You can't say they ain't dedicated to you in all season. They got you linemen, they got you weapons.
I'll say this: I think Jacksonville did a lot of dumpster diving and paid enough money for people to think it was a good offseason.
I want to ask you this.
Money make you do strange things, Nate.
Mike Green, real quick. I want to ask you this because we're getting to the hour and a half mark, and I do have to dip around the hour and a half mark. Nate already heard this question. He already answered it. Once again, because you got that insight from the tight end, Austin Allen. Did you get a chance to look at him?
Austin Allen, no, I ain't had a chance to look at him yet.
Okay, then in that case.
So just I'll make this easy for you. Flip on Nebraska. He's the mountain in shoulder pads.
He's like 6'9". We signed him as an undrafted free agent tight end.
In a word, that's nice though. Any word on Rising John?
That's a great question. I have no idea. Honestly.
Oh, 6'7".
I think he just kind of disappeared.
But why? Like,
I have no idea.
That's a Joe Judge. That's a Joe Judge one right there.
I also will say before we move on fully from Evan Ingram, I want to point out some guys, like, working theory aside, all that confidence aside, some guys just can't catch. Like, sometimes, like, no matter what you try, no matter what you think, no matter how the sports psychologist works with you, some guys just can't catch the ball. That might be just what it is.
Go ahead there,
Catching
Mike.
is a mental thing.
Let me get your last thought /question / topic right here before we end it out.
Couple questions. First question, hey Nate, how do I subscribe to your channel? What's the name of it?
Thank you so much for asking that. My channel is called Nate Talks Football. Everything's spelled the way you expect it to be, and I appreciate anyone who wants to sub me up.
I'll drop the link in the
I
chat right
got you.
now.
I bet. Yeah, I'll go sub that up. And hey up.
Yes, sir.
If we can average, let's say 24 points a game, do you believe that should be enough to make us a playoff team?
If our defense can be a top half defense, meaning top 16. So if our defense can be top 16 and we're averaging at least 24 points a game, yeah, I think we could be a playoff team. I think that automatically puts us in contention for the NFC East, which of course means playoff team.
Let's point out 24 points a game isn't that much.
But that's a massive improvement over last year. What did we average?
It's a massive improvement over last year, but it's also not like huge.
But think about where did that defense rank last year? It finished at, let me pull this up right now.
Our defense played a lot better than the stats are going to indicate because our offense left them out to dry.
That's what I was going to say. The fact that we're scoring 24 means that they're not out to dry anymore. So I think the defense is going to be like mightily improved.
Well, our defense is going to be completely different from last year. This is not the same defense.
I think it's enough. Nate, what do you say?
Guys, let's not underestimate the fact that the scheme is polar opposite. Even if we had the exact same players, it would not be the same defense.
No, but to answer his question.
No, sure. I'm just saying, like, we can't expect the defense to be exactly as good as last year.
I hear you. And your answer to his question?
Sorry. I thought you were saying that was to answer his question.
No.
I think it's a coin flip, and I say that not because I think the Giants have 50-50 odds of being a playoff caliber team, because I don't think we will be, but the NFC is so weak. The NFC sucks. It feels like every team in the conference just decided to hit rebuild mode at the same time, versus the AFC where there was an arms race. There's like maybe 3, maybe 4 if you're stretching teams in the NFC that you can definitively say, oh, yeah, that's a playoff team. That's a team that I feel confident about going into this season. Everyone else has massive question marks everywhere. So can I see us slipping in? Sure.
And then
I've been trying to say this. Sorry, Hub. I'm trying to say this for the longest. We finally got offensive linemen to where our quarterback felt confident that he's going to be protected. So he ain't got to rush through progressions. He ain't got to focus on one receiver because everybody get his ass knocked off. He can actually go through the offense and find the open man to get them the ball and give them an opportunity to make a play in space. Everybody want to get on Daniel Jones' pocket presence, but how can you have pocket presence when you know if I don't get this ball out in 2 seconds, I'm dead?
Yeah.
So now he might actually be able to work on the small mechanics as a quarterback need to, because he understands that I ain't got to worry about my blind side or my front side no more. And I can see what's in front of me.
I think we have a greatly improved offensive line, man. I might be stepping, a little too soon here, but I think we have the potential to be, and at the very least, an average to above average offensive line. But I like the talent that we brought in for the starters and for depth.
The Lewinsky from the Colts is a huge signing.
Yeah, that's an underrated signing.
Super underrated. People don't realize how good he was with the Colts.
The right side is secure. And any one of these North Carolina guards even play average next to the center we got in Feliciano, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, John Feliciano.
We good. And then on top of that as well, what's going to be really beautiful, we might have an opportunity to finally see this 2018 version of Saquon Barkley again.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, G-Men for life. First of all, I said the NFC is a conference, not the NFC is a division. The NFC East is still very bad. Let's be real. Yeah, historically, we've all won a Super Bowl. We know it's a very strange paradox, but let's be real. The Cowboys got very clearly worse. The Eagles still probably don't have a quarterback and have massive weaknesses. Washington is Washington, and we just started a brand new rebuild. This division still sucks. There's no two ways about it.
Fellas, 85% of my family is Cowboy fans.
Yeah,
oh, God, no.
Yeah, he's mentioned this, I think, on his first call, and I don't know how he survives that.
Oh. My heart goes out to you,
trash. Y'all been lying to me for 27 years about y'all going to the Super Bowl. Don't make it 28.
Bro,
Don't make it
there's
28.
majority of Cowboys fans today never seen them win Super Bowl, bro.
I
just
told
need.
them, I said, y'all want to know how long it been since y'all won a Super Bowl? The Giants got gold rings and platinum rings. Y'all still stuck in gold. Y'all figure the rest of that out.
Damn. I mean, that's just
That's an ender.
cold-blooded
That's
truth.
a conversation ender right there. But
No, I
Mike,
mean-
let me get. Oh, go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, it's. I just all I want is a compilation of "This is our year." That's all I want. A compilation of Cowboys fans. This is the year, and it never is. It's beautiful. I mean, last week we were talking about it's like before last season. No, sorry, before the playoffs last season. Me, I think it was Pat. It might have been Fisk. Like some other people. We're just talking about the Cowboys' chances in the playoffs, and I said, "Listen, they are the objectively better team, but I do not think they have a chance." Just because the Cowboys don't win in the playoffs, they don't do
The
it.
Cowboys are like what you call it, seasonal chokers, bro. They're serial chokers. Actually, is the word I was looking for. But Mike, I really got to end it out here, bro. Let me get your last thought, and we'll close it out, man.
Hey, man, Giants fans, don't be harassing the Kayvon Thibodeau's, the Kadarius Toney. Support your team, man.
Facts.
Support your players. I know it's been a rough 5-6 years, but
Maybe
it's
10.
a new regime, man. It's time to hit the refresh button, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get rid of the negativity and bring in the positivity. And who knows, that positivity could carry us to a place we ain't been in a decade.
Hey, Mr. Optimistic was in here earlier. Why not end it off on an optimistic note as well? Big shout out to everybody in the chat. I see Griminator, Tommy for 1, Marjorie, Vinny, G-Men for life, Hirsch, all the members. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Another great stream, another great episode with everybody interacting with each other. Make sure you subscribe to Nate. Mike, you got anything to plug, bro?
Hey, man, I'm trying to get some content on this channel. I've been dealing with a sick grandfather, a sick mother, but once I
Yeah, I
get
hope
them
everything
straight,
works out, man.
I'll be appreciate it. I'll be talking Giants football on here.
Hell
Why
yeah,
not?
Mike.
You heard it.
Why
It
not?
is. Shout out to 40 Luck as well in the chat. But guys, that's gonna be it for now, and we are out. Let me pull up this stream end.